cannabis, recreational dispensaries is a relatively new thing since 2014 when Colorado was the first U.S. state to do recreational cannabis. There had been medical before in other states, but that was kind of to me, like the beginning of it. So the way to look at it is it's a local retail business, like a store that sells wine, a store that sells beer, a store that sells shoes. I would, in a crash course of learning this industry, I would look at it like this is a retail operation. So there's principles to local retail that you can look up and identify that are going to be the same, like turnover of inventory, like driving foot traffic. That's kind of relevant for other stores as well. So I wouldn't get too crazy about, oh, it's so different. It has a lot of the same principles as other things in local markets that you can look at. But the crash course on like the industry would be understanding the legal frameworks, like because it is a gray area of like not federally legal, but like legal at the state level. You have to be careful about what you don't get the opportunities to market the same way as other types of businesses, like a jewelry store, a shoe store, I don't know, collectibles store, like comic book store. Like they can do all kinds of marketing things, but with recreational cannabis, because it's still federally illegal, you have to like understand some of those nuances that you can't just do everything. So that would be one thing to be careful about is like social media is a great example. Like we don't do any social media and a lot of our clients don't do social media because they get banned off these platforms the more they post because it's federally illegal. And if there's any inclination that they're trying to sell via those platforms, they get banned and it's just not worth, and they don't drive a lot of revenue from it. So that would be like the legality of the industry. I would definitely, dig into and make sure you understand. And then I would really get into like understanding of the clients and who is running these dispensaries, who is in this industry, how did they get into it, what's their background, and really seek to understand like who they are. Because what we've learned is that, there's a lot of different types of folks in this industry, but at the end of the day, they're business people too, and they're trying to make this business successful. And they have a lot of headwinds, preventing them from being successful. So for us, it's a big deal because that's who we serve and we're there to help them, overcome these challenges. So we really seek to understand their challenges, and their challenges are foot traffic, not able to market on all the platforms that any other business can, cost of acquiring customers, competition. Like there's a lot of dispensaries in some of these states, and there's like way too many for the size of the market, turnover of personnel. Like, they have that challenge like everybody does, it seems today, is like finding good talent and retaining that talent in your business. I would really seek to understand their pain point at their level and who they are. And then I think you could leverage that into like adding value in this industry. And I think it's nuanced. It's different than another client in another industry because of the nature of it being in this weird legal, not fully legal and not fully illegal. It's in this like middle area that's kind of no man's land.
I was going to say that SEO normally has its own difficulty rating, but I think with CBD and cannabis, you've turned up the difficulty a lot higher.
Yeah, and if there's only one channel to get new customers, which is organic, let's say to get a brand new customer in the door, then you've taken all these things you could do and you've limited it to this, and then everybody's fighting over the same little piece, which makes it more competitive. And then if you already have too many competitors, now you're like layering the challenge on itself. So
what do you guys do that separates you from the rest of them? How do you guys make sure that you're a cut above the rest?
That's really actually an easy question to answer. I hire people that used to run dispensaries and that we've either worked with or they know those challenges firsthand because they've done it. There's that difference between having advice and an opinion, right? Like I've never run a dispensary myself, so I have an opinion of how it should be done. But I have people on my team that have actual advice because they've done it. So they're on our team. They provide a lot of that input. And that's how we've been able to, in my opinion, be ahead of the curve and understand the challenges better than most, and then align our solutions to fit those.
And if you don't mind, how do you find these people who are advice givers and not just opinion givers?
Yeah. So the advice givers that have done the work, when we put out our advertising to like hire, we run a hiring funnel and it'll be like 400 or 500 resumes to get 2 job offer letters out. And we're looking for people that have that experience and then have a desire to be involved in the marketing side of that industry. The other thing that we've been able to do is because we've worked with a lot of people in the industry, like one of my team members is great and he was an old client of ours. He used to be a client. It ended up that they downsized or for some reason, like he came on the job market and we had a great relationship. So we put it together where we could work together. So I think that's kind of our 2 ways, either the advertising hiring funnel or we have a relationship or we get an introduction to someone and then we put that together, and we're always looking for that talent. Like there's only so many people that have it in the world today. It's not like in the US we have McDonald's and there's a lot of people in the world that have worked at McDonald's, like thousands and thousands. Well, cannabis isn't like that. Like there's not that many people that have worked and run or opened dispensaries in the world right now compared to other things.
Like I'm pretty sure there are quite a few people who have, let's say, consumed it, but not exactly run a business, providing it.
There's a ton of people that have consumed it around the world. There's not as many that like know the business side of it and understand it.